Deep in the stadium locker room sits a mountain of muscle. He breathes heavy, his massive frame forged by grueling hours in the gym. This towering anthropomorphic Springbok stands as a physical manifestation of national pride, preparing for a match where precision is a weapon. Today, he is the star forward for the jumping bloggers. They are a grassroots team attempting to break through the lines of the politicomics, a massive establishment team that relies on autocratic laws and systemic manipulation to maintain their dominance on the pitch. This network map outlines the opposition's defensive strategy. A centralized mind control program works to isolate and suppress decentralized nodes of grassroots data. In this game, the score is calculated by how much of this information can be successfully circulated or buried. As the whistle blows, the physical stadium begins fracturing. The concrete architecture glitches out, dissolving into a digital grid. The traditional rules of rugby are replaced by the high-speed jargon of media warfare, where every tackle is a coordinated campaign of political spin. Physical strength alone cannot move the ball here. To gain ground, the jumping bloggers have to navigate a field where the opponent is weaponizing the very architecture of reality to keep the public from seeing the score. The digital grid rapidly dries out, shifting into the sun-baked dirt of a classic Western shootout. The politicomics forwards use their terrifying size to launch their opening offensive. They attempt to bury the defense under an avalanche of misdirection, using the sheer scale of their establishment resources to force a turnover of the facts. The Springbok stands his ground in the dust, relying on the precision of a seasoned gunfighter, using verified data points to sidestep the deception. He executes a perfect digital offload, keeping the truth moving forward. When met with the pinpoint accuracy of a verified fact, the brute force of a political spin campaign loses its momentum. The deception simply fails to find a target. The opposition escalates. A nightmare labyrinth of dead trees and deep shadows rapidly consumes the plane, simulating a media blackout designed to leave players blind. This hierarchical flowchart maps the flow of control. Strategic commands originate in the luxury boxes, where politicians pull the strings to keep the players on the pitch isolated and vulnerable to demonic illusions. To maintain focus amidst the shadows, the Springbok relies on a deep internal conviction. He draws on a spiritual power, the armor of God, to withstand the darkness and keep his eyes on the actual state of the game. He powers through the horrific illusions, physically mauling the corrupt defensive line. By driving them back, he drags their hidden scandals out of the shadows and exposes them to the light of the crowd. Systemic corruption depends on its ability to remain hidden. Once the defensive line is breached and the mechanics of the blackout are exposed, the establishment's control over the narrative begins to crumble. The environment shifts violently again. The ground falls away, throwing the players into a high-altitude freefall through the shattered remains of autocratic laws. The ball has transformed into a glowing packet of unfiltered data. It plummets at terminal velocity through a storm of debris, representing high-speed informational impact. Surviving this plummet requires immense physical fortitude. The wind roar is constant, and the risk of a high-speed collision with the establishment defenders makes every second of the fall a test of endurance. The Springbok checks the data through the chaos. He braces against the plummet, timing his catch perfectly to secure the packet midair, despite the desperate diving tackles of the opposition. Securing raw information in the middle of a crisis requires the strength to withstand the literal weight of a collapsing system. The data is only as secure as the person holding it. Instead of hitting the ground, the Springbok's momentum propels him upward. He shatters the atmosphere, entering the infinite void of space. In this environment, the elite's tools of power are useless. As altitude increases, metrics for elite control and wealth consolidation drop to zero. With the mechanisms of corruption neutralized, grassroots action surges. The establishment is completely defenseless against the momentum of the truth. The Springbok glides through the stars, untouched by the final tackles of the opposition. He touches the glowing ball down on a celestial triline. A cosmic scoreboard lights up, signaling the end of elite dominance. This victory is built on the same foundation seen in this line of players, a shared sporting identity and unyielding strength from national unity. Defeating censorship secures the game's future, ensuring the next generation of players and journalists grow up on a pitch where facts are never obscured. The whistle has blown on elite deception. The power of truth has secured the win, but the team is always looking for new recruits. Join the jumping bloggers today and help ensure that the victory on the pitch is never reversed.